Hey guys, welcome to another team building exercise. I'm Sean, and with me today are Matt and Onyx.
Yo.
We're going to be talking about the 2018 nominees for the Video Game Hall of Fame. There's exactly 12 of them. Got them right here on cards. We're going to flip them over. We're going to vote on which ones we want in our top 6. Our top 6 will make the cut. They will be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
For sure,
right?
we will be super accurate.
Let's try to not do it based on personal favorites, but try to do it based on our judgment of how that game impacted the game industry.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Sure.
I mean, if you end up
Yeah.
voting for your favorite, that's fine.
Yeah. There's going to be some bias here.
If you've watched some of our previous team buildings, we've done boosts and vetoes and all that stuff. We're not doing that today because we've got 3 people. So it's just 2-1.
Simple, yeah.
It
gimmicks.
It moves on. All right, so I've got a little cheat sheet here because you can kind of see some of these through the thing. So I'll throw these over here, and Matt, if you want to help juggle where this stuff goes.
Juggle, pal.
Our first game that we're going to talk about is Minecraft.
Minecraft.
You know, I've literally never played it.
Oh my god.
You know what's so funny with it? I have no connection to this. I've never played it either. My son has played it.
I mean, I have a deep understanding of how important it is.
Oh yeah. And for that alone, I mean, I don't know if I'm like jumping the gun, but I really do see
I know.
easily.
I have a platinum trophy.
I was gonna say,
for
I know
Minecraft.
Sean's like the Minecraft
Hundreds.
guy. Like the Switch announcement for Minecraft, Sean was losing his mind.
Wait, how many hours have you put throughout the entire, all versions?
At least 100.
Yeah.
It's triple digits.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I could play with, I don't know, an Oculus Rift on like tables and random stuff like they showed in the Oculus Rift demo.
That's
Or not the
right.
Rift.
That was the
sorry, the
HoloLens.
That was
HoloLens.
the
Yeah, the HoloLens. I
HoloLens,
always
yeah.
say that. Yeah, that HoloLens demo was really cool too.
It actually was really cool.
Did it take off?
It was it was a
It
bit
did,
off
didn't it?
base.
Yeah.
Oh, HoloLens is very cool, but it was a little ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to really vote on here because it's the first game out the door. But where this, I feel, impacted the industry is in games where you create. I think Little Big Planet might have been before Minecraft.
It was.
And there's been plenty of games even in the 8-bit generation where you do some sort of creation. Like I remember I had a pinball game where you could make your own pinball. But
I wouldn't even
Minecraft
put.
really took it to.
Yeah, and I don't know that I would put Little Big Planet in the same category. When I think Minecraft and I think spin-off, I think Terraria.
Dragon Quest Builders.
Oh yeah.
EverQuest was making a game based off of that idea. They were going to do EverQuest. The new EverQuest game was supposed to be that.
It's a totally different gameplay style.
Subnautica is a really big take on sort of the same idea. It's the blending of survival / build.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even argue that in some ways, because Minecraft has a survival element, right? Like, I know you can free play and just build,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I know that the main mode, like, you have to survive through the nights, and there's the zombies and all that.
Yeah, so there's survival mode and creative mode.
So feasibly, you could argue that Minecraft started the entire survival game craze. Stuff like
In a way.
H1Z1,
Ark
which spawned Battle Royale. I mean, you want to talk
Yeah.
about impact, like...
That's
if
very
you
true.
really
if you-
trickle down the train
yeah.
and think about it, it started some... I mean,
But
right now, that's like the biggest game genre, and it all came from survival games, which kind of started with this.
And even taking that away from it, though, you look at Minecraft and you look at what other countries are doing with Minecraft. They use this to teach agriculture
It's
to
incredible,
kids in
yeah.
Europe. Like, that's incredible that it has those type of deep system. Like, Little Big Planet surprised me when they built a working calculator in that game a few years ago. This game has topped that and then some. I believe there's
yeah.
games within Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so like that creativity, the versatility of that tool, like from a game, yeah, no, hands down, this is a impactful.
I'm totally blanking on the original creator's name. What's his name?
Notch.
Notch. There
Notch,
you go.
yeah.
I mean, he's
A billionaire off of cubes. I mean,
Seriously.
you can't
living on an island somewhere, not talking to anybody. Good job. Good
All
job,
right,
Notch.
let's flip out the next game. So what we're going to do is this next game is going to go below Minecraft, and we have to vote it up if we so choose.
Right.
Gotcha.
And it won't be until the 7th game that we're voting stuff out
Of the top
of
six.
the top 6,
Yeah.
but we're still positioning to win. All right. Game number 2 is Metroid.
The original.
The
Metroid.
original. Not Super Metroid, just straight up NES Metroid.
I actually remember playing the original Metroid a lot as a kid and being super overwhelmed by it, like not being able to find my way through
And you want to
things.
talk about an impact in the gaming industry. Before Metroid, like 2D side scrollers didn't do, oh, you can go back to the left It was all right side, right side, right side. All of a sudden now you can go left and up and down on different screens. And it was like a world like that was never done before.
You
Zelda
had to backtrack.
True puzzler.
exactly, yeah.
It was that was the original Metroidvania game, right? There was no Castlevania.
Well, yeah, it was
before
just Metroid.
There was Castlevania for the NES, but it wasn't.
I don't remember.
No, it was
predated,
side scroller.
though.
It was literally
It
levels.
was-
It was
yes.
levels, so you were
Yes.
left to right, beat the level.
Because
go on to the
Castlevania
next
eventually took on that same.
one. With Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, they eventually got into the same thing, but
Which
Metroid
was
was
by
doing it long
Iga.
before.
They called it the Igavania, and then eventually became Metroidvania to signify the whole backtracking and whatever. But yeah, definitely. I mean, very impactful. This is, to me, definitely staying up there.
I mean, it was doing emergent sort of gameplay stuff long before anyone else had done it, because I feel like most of the games that started doing that were Super Nintendo titles, not Nintendo titles, but like having to discover gameplay mechanics,
Yeah.
the way that it introduced them to you, and unlocking areas via like puzzly stuff, and the game never handheld you once, which I know that was pretty typical of NES games, but
Yeah.
with Metroid it was like you literally couldn't go anywhere unless you figured out, oh, I've got to shoot like 3 missiles at this door.
And not even just that. Right at the beginning, you get the morph ball, and when you get out of the room, how do you get out? There's like one
There's
little
one
notch.
little
So what do you
crevice,
do? You
yep.
press down twice. Oh, whoa! I'm a ball now. Like it let you figure out how to play, just like games of the era, like Mega Man and Mega Man X too. Like it's
6-year-old Matt hated Metroid.
Yeah.
Because he was not good at it.
I didn't play it as a kid, so like Minecraft, I'm the opposite for you guys.
That's
I've never
okay,
beaten
though.
it.
We've been talking about the gameplay. I think the other thing that's very important about Metroid is that there was that reveal.
Yes,
at the
Samus
end.
is a girl.
Samus is a girl,
Yes.
which
Talk
by
about-
today's standards,
yeah.
it's just like okay,
Whatever, but back
then
then-
that was a huge deal.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
no,
And
yeah.
for a long time, I would say it was still a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, it was a power fantasy where you play the opposite sex, and most people that played games at a time were boys. So it being like, oh, I'm a girl after all, and she's this really cool bounty hunter, like, yeah, definitely huge, I think.
Yeah.
So we got to vote.
Ugh.
It's hard to say because Minecraft has impacted the gaming industry and then some, whereas Metroid was strictly on the gaming industry. If, as much as I love Metroid, if I had to pick one of the two being above the other, I'd vote for Minecraft just because it went like nobody studies Metroid at schools, man. That's huge to me. That this can benefit mankind.
Yeah, but I look at it, the age of Metroid, the time that it came out, and the number of games that it impacted
That it
in so many
impacted,
different
yeah.
ways, and the length of the series. I feel like that just counts for so much Hall of Fame wise. I think I'd probably have to put it above Minecraft.
Oh wow! So it's down to you, my friend.
Well, I see both your points of view, and the way I look at it, we're all salivating over Metroid Prime 4.
Oh,
this is still relevant.
that is
How
true.
many decades later?
That's true.
Metroid.
Metroid's
Boom.
going up.
Nice. I know
Oh,
Rudy's
Minecraft.
going to be very surprised when he sees that I voted for Minecraft, the game I've never played.
And I didn't.
I know.
Hey, look, I can't wait for some Zero Suit Samus action
Oh
and
my
Switch.
God.
I'm just saying.
Oh
that's
my
gonna
god.
be-
But
Yes.
don't worry. Minecraft will have its chance to have another bout.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Because
sure.
now we are going to be talking about Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man?
Snap.
Unlike Metroid,
I know. No reveal there.
no reveal, and it was kind of a copy pasta, just with a pink bow.
Yeah.
Right, but it was the superior Pac-Man game.
It was. It was a little more polished. It
better
was,
designed.
Yeah. It had the little story segments of Miss Pac-Man trying to get Pac-Man. Having a baby.
Yeah, I know. Oh god, the little between the levels.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
man.
cool. I like Miss Pac-Man.
I feel like Pac-Man's okay. Well, all of those arcade games, I guess, fit into this, right? And it's like the whole Tetris argument. Like,
Tetris,
if you were gonna bring like 8 games with you to a deserted island, like you bring Tetris because you play it forever. And I feel like most of the old arcade games are like that because you could just play them forever.
They were just point seekers essentially.
But
yeah.
Pac-Man was pretty high on the. I mean, Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man in general was high on that list for me. I'd probably put like. I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know that I like Galaga as much as Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Maybe Centipede. Like it's in like that era, like that crazy ancient era.
Yeah, the
you know?
Atari 8600.
And then they had the was Miss Pac-Man the one that had the top-down table version?
I think so.
I was gonna say that those cabinets are cool. I would love to have one of those.
I think I worked in an arcade a long time ago that had a Miss Pac-Man.
And Galaga. It
You
was
were- Was that true?
SeaWorld.
Yeah, there you go.
It was Miss Pac-Man and Galaga
you
in
go.
the cabinet. Yeah, you would choose one or the other.
For that reason, I would not vote for Miss Pac-Man.
No, I between the three choices right now, I think it's exactly where it needs to be. Nothing against the game or the impact that it had, because it really did impact the industry.
It did.
I mean, arcades took off, and if that hadn't happened, maybe people wouldn't have been, like inspired to make home consoles, which led to the Ataris and the Jaguars, and then eventually Nintendo. So it did have impact, but
everything in this nominee list deserved the nomination for sure.
Yeah, if it was, you think of it and it's so iconic because it's such an early video game.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's so close to the beginning of video games. But really, it's an incredibly simple concept,
Super
right?
simple.
I mean, that doesn't make it not worth being above
definitely not.
Minecraft, but I don't think I would vote it up necessarily in terms of impact, because really, like, aside from just making games popular, what else did it do for, who else did it inspire?
Right.
I don't feel it had too much more crazy of an impact than Pac-Man did before it.
Right.
Right.
So,
Very much the same thing. Yeah.
All right, Miss Pac-Man. Well, let's see if you can survive. I already saw the letter on the next one, so I know what this is coming. This one's gonna be fun. The next one is Dance Dance Revolution.
Wow.
Oh,
DDR.
Man. DDR, baby.
I played DDR at SeaWorld. We had a DDR machine.
Oh my goodness.
The machines are the way to go, man.
No, definitely. Those pads at home are not the same.
DDR, and I believe there may have been a couple games before it that did similar things, but nothing quite caught on like DDR. And since then, we have rhythm games. Mm-hmm. This was the original popular rhythm game.
Oh yeah. Oh
well,
man.
in the West, right? It couldn't have been the first one. I mean, they're so popular in Japan.
That's
well,
what
this came from
I think
Japan.
There were a couple.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to say,
Konami,
I think it was the first one that had an impact here, right? In the States, it was the first
Correct.
one that became a worldwide revolution.
It was bananas.
Because that would have been pre like Amplitude and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. This was like early 2000s. Yeah.
I feel like it definitely, in terms of here. For us, it was the first big one, and then you end up getting Amplitude, and then you end up getting Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
But of course, that becomes like your input is a controller, right? Essentially, where this is like you use your body on these pads, like that.
I mean, if you ever listen to like anyone talk about rhythm games in Japan, like they come out with new ones every week, and they're crazy.
You remember I don't know if you remember seeing the one with like the drums,
the Donkey Kong one.
No, Donkey Kong had one with like the drums themselves, but almost like with sticks.
I actually just had a friend in Japan, and they put a video of the two of them doing like there's another podcast I listened to where they were talking about it, because the guy lives in Japan. He's British, but he teaches English there, and they were talking about all of the new rhythm games are coming. He's like, there's this one with this crazy big dial that you like have to turn. They do the most ridiculous things.
Well, because arcades are still popular in Japan.
Right,
they're not here.
Even a lot of franchises. I mean, like you've got Final Fantasy's got Theater Rhythm.
That's right.
You've got the Persona's got Persona 3, 4, and 5 all have dancing games coming out. Persona 4 is actually coming to the PS4
So
now.
do you think that DDR is the precursor to all these dance games?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
What about like stuff like Parappa the Rapper though? Those were rhythm games that came out in the PS1 era.
They were.
Because when I think of games like P5 or Dancing All Night or whatever it's called, P4 Dancing All Night, I forget their names. I think of like Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa.
Correct, because that was on your controller, on the screen, and you just follow the prompts and et cetera, et cetera. DDR, I see more of the peripherals, your Guitar Heroes,
That had to be one of the earliest examples of like peripherals that were specific to a game too. I mean, not counting like Duck Hunt, obviously would be the earliest thing I could think of. And I didn't play enough Atari or Amiga or any of that stuff to know exactly. But that's definitely one of the when gaming became really, because when did DDR come out? Like what console would have been out?
Well, it would have been PS2.
Yeah.
Was it PS2?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was primarily arcade, but it was like that time
but
frame.
a lot of people have the PS2
Well, they did get
gamepads.
PS2 ports.
Nintendo wishes they came up with this idea
Right,
first.
yeah.
With their whole being healthy, playing video games.
Oh,
that got a lot of people out and about.
Well, I mean, look at the moves. Like I remember seeing people doing the whole two players and swapping in mid song and just going crazy.
You get crowds of people watching it at arcades and
the arcade,
like,
man.
Viral videos. I love DDR.
In terms of, I mean, continuing on, right? In terms of where it's at, though, I think it's right there. I think in terms of impact, I personally am good where it's at. I don't think it's more impactful than Miss Pac-Man.
I would disagree.
Yeah.
I feel like Pac-Man drove a lot of things. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know enough of the difference between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man to know really how did that step up.
Right.
But DDR, it made way for Guitar Hero, which made way for Rock Band, which made way for the reinvigoration of a lot of those Parappa-like games that I think people were just like, it's just a button thing, whatever. But now people are like really into it.
Yeah.
And they would actually prefer those over the peripherals, but you can trace it back to this.
That's true.
Plus, everyone likes music.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about like how many songs got popular purely because of DDR. Like,
is that Captain Jack song popular from that?
Was it
Captain Jack? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't
Somebody
know. I remember
like,
there was like My Name Is Sonic was one that I remember coming from DDR that got really popular. My name is Sonic.
I don't remember any.
There were a bunch of like house and like like before EDH was what it is now, where it's just crazy mainstream thing.
A lot of Japanese.
I feel like a lot of its introduction into like mainstream culture, if you weren't like in the rave culture, came from DDR.
Yeah.
And a lot of those songs still. So even outside of just gaming,
I bet there's a Gangnam Style version of this
DDR
somewhere.
Korea.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I got to vote it up above Miss Pac-Man.
All right.
There you go.
Well, it's going up.
I think probably a wider swath of people have actually, like, everyone knows about Pac-Man, but how many 18 to 26-year-olds today have even really actually played Pac-Man? Like, probably a lot of them probably know it and have never actually seen the arcade machine.
You don't forget the 28 and 30 plus year olds that are actual gamers too. It's a big population of us.
That's true.
Because we're in our 30s.
But I bet you a lot of those guys are playing it too. You got to stave off the arthritis anyway.
Stop it.
How about Minecraft? How does it stack up against Minecraft?
It stays right there.
Yeah, I don't think it goes up.
I can't possibly put it over Minecraft.
Alrighty then.
What would you?
I don't know. They're just so different.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of it as an impact kind of thing, right?
I think they both had similar crazes, although I think Minecraft's craze has been a little bit bigger. But I think that's due in part to the internet generation that was still coming of age back then.
Yeah. Well, also the way you play this, you can play this on so many. You can play this on your cell phone. You can't do this on your cell phone. I mean, you could if you, if they somehow built something for it.
I mean, I feel like Minecraft's on has got to be close to being available on every single gaming platform, like modern gaming.
Can't think of any that it's not. It's on tablets.
We'll leave it there.
It's like Skyrim.
Oh my god, Skyrim! Skyrim needs to die.
All right. Speaking of Skyrim, this is not Skyrim. Number 5. Call of Duty, the first original World War. I think it was.
Well, it was World War II. It was World War II.
So it's funny. I did actually. This is the one that I knew was nominated, and I remember thinking, I was like, that's not the one though that gets me. Like Call of Duty 2 is the one that I think of. Not Modern Warfare, but like just Call of Duty 2. Because I remember, I don't remember the original Call of Duty very well, but I do remember the first time I went to a LAN center and I sat down, I put headphones on and played COD, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like just the crazy bullets all over the place, and like in the trenches, and people were going down, and it's like, wow, this feels so ridiculously real.
Crazy good.
And I don't know how much of that, I don't think I ever played the original COD. I know that before them, Medal of Honor was kind of big.
Medal of Honor was definitely big.
They were trading back and forth for a while.
Medal of Honor was very linear,
but COD 2, man.
It didn't open up the world to those big battlefields the way COD did.
I feel there probably are not. If you look at the user base, the fans of Call of Duty today, I bet a very small percentage of them actually played this first.
That was like 2000.
Even Call of Duty 2, I would say it's probably they haven't played anything prior to Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
right. But
the majority.
Yeah, because Call of Duty 3 was still World War II.
But
yeah,
Call of Duty 3
it was very polished, but it was still
very similar to COD 2. Yeah,
it was way more polished.
You don't get any of them without the first one, right? And
correct.
I don't know if that's Infinity Ward's first game.
It may not have been their first game, but it was still Infinity Ward's first COD, obviously.
Right. Yeah, and I mean,
that
was the first iron sight shooter, if I'm not, or it was one of the first iron sight shooters where you hit a button and toggled up to iron sights, which felt very realistic.
Well, MGS did it back in '98, but I guess maybe in first person.
The health system being just sort of the regenerating health system instead of having to gain health and having a health bar was new for them. And then think about the legacy, like Infinity Ward publishes through Activision. and they publish a couple games, and they go to them and they're like, hey, we want to publish for console. And we want to make a Modern Warfare game. And Activision's like, no, you can't do that. Here, we'll let you develop for Xbox 360 on COD 2. Keep making World War games. Like, just do this. All right, cool. We get Xbox 360 Call of Duty and PC Call of Duty. And they still keep pushing the Modern Warfare thing at a time when no one thinks that's a good idea, right? It's too relevant. When did Modern Warfare came out?
2007.
Yeah, it was in the middle
November
Probably.
or December.
Probably
right after
November.
Halo 3. It was shortly after
For a
Halo.
lot
It
of
was
people, that
November
was
then.
way too soon to be doing something so close to home, and they pushed it with Activision. They're like, we're not gonna be stopped on this. And then Modern Warfare comes out, and it
And
blows
changes the game.
everybody's mind. And
Because everybody wanted to get a slice of that shooter,
And
that multiplayer pie. Medal of Honor even changed. They did the same thing with Medal of Honor in 08.
but see, so here's my thing. This is not Modern Warfare.
No.
It paved the way for Modern
Correct.
Warfare.
And all I'm saying is, historically, if you think about, we're talking about trickle-down effect, right?
Right.
We talked about it with Metroid and Minecraft.
Correct.
Then Infinity Ward gets canned when they bring in Treyarch so they can start doing a title a year. They were the first non-sports game to start doing a title a year. Then think about gaming tournaments. Call of Duty helped to drive that push.
MLG.
Infinity Ward gets the guys end up leaving, starting Respawn. You get Titanfall. That drives a whole new series of games.
But I even though that all started here,
I know, I'm just saying.
really don't want to give this game the credit for that many things.
We'll
that's
never
not
get there
fair.
without that one.
Well, then Miss Pac-Man should be the number one thing because it was the game that came out before all of these, and therefore, if you look at it from, I'm trying not to make it about chronology. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm just thinking about
Well, we're thinking about more of impact, right? So if it wasn't for Call of Duty, we wouldn't have had Modern Warfare, which genuinely did impact the industry for quite a few years. Maybe not.
I would vote
today.
it above Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I agree. We can go ahead and do that.
I would put it above DDR.
And at this point, I don't like COD anymore. I hate what COD stands for in modern gaming. But there was a time when I adored it, right? And
Yeah.
that tells you how far it's come and the impact. And look at modern gaming right now. Amidst all of the things we've had, where MOBAs have taken control, and now Battle Royale is this huge thing.
Yeah.
And
Battle
there's Call of
Royale.
Duty still selling units, and people still playing it.
I would argue that the franchise owes more to Call of Duty 2 than Call of Duty 1.
You're right, because
why not put
because
Call
it
of
was on
Duty 2 in this
360.
list? I wonder, why not nominate that? one?
I don't know why.
But you know why though? Because Call of Duty 2 was the first on consoles. If it wasn't for that, on 360, mind you, as a launch title, it probably would have been a little bit longer until they would have taken off.
Yeah, I played it. I mean, I always played it on PC, but yeah.
This is one of those weird title where you have to give it respect, but at the same time, I don't want to give it all the respect because
Yeah.
I feel like the games after it, while they couldn't have come without the first game, I don't feel they are chained to that first game
But they built
know?
upon it, Each one was building upon it. Right? I never played much of the first one, but the second one was obviously
if we
a
had,
step up.
if this list had Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, and Modern Warfare, I might put this one third. On the list.
Yeah, because Call of Duty 3 was.
So it's hard to
okay.
look at that
I guess-
against other games.
I guess the way I look at it historically, though, is there are eras of FPS, right? And it starts with Wolfenstein that becomes Doom. And that spins off. And then we
Half-Life.
get little upgrades,
Half-Life,
right?
man, that's not a little upgrade, that's huge.
Pre-Half-Life, though, we even get,
Well, it'd be
GoldenEye.
Okay.
GoldenEye era.
All
Half-Life,
right, yeah.
Half-Life and Call of Duty, what was the release date on Half-Life?
98 was
Didn't it
Half-Life.
come out around... Oh, that was
98.
98.
Right. So
And
that...
Call of Duty came out like 99 or
GoldenEye
2000.
was 97, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right. So Half-Life probably starts a new era then, right?
See, Half-Life
So everything up to
definitely. That
that
was a
point,
story-driven
and then you've got
shooter.
Half-Life, and then I feel like Call of Duty spun off a whole new era, and frankly, I think we're still in that era. I haven't seen... Nobody has done anything in that genre that
In shooters?
has changed shooters the way that
Have
it
you heard of
did.
Overwatch? Have you heard of Destiny?
No. You're not listening to what I'm
Borderlands
saying.
was before Destiny.
Nothing mechanically about those games has changed the shooter the way that Call of Duty changed the shooter. They all use mechanics that were invented with games like Call of Duty at that time. That's all I'm saying.
Which is what is that mechanic though?
Well, System Shock.
Well, just the mobility and the health system and the toggling iron sights up and down, right? Like Half-Life and CS Source.
Half-Life
and all that,
didn't
they don't
have
do,
that.
Yeah, they didn't do any of
Half-Life
that
2.
stuff.
No, Half-Life 2 didn't even have that. But I think at that point that was more of a developer's choice. They didn't want to have this.
I'm just saying, like, mechanically, we haven't seen them progress a ton. I'm not saying that we haven't seen excellent FPS come out since then, but they, like, Overwatch doesn't do anything new. It just does it all better.
I mean, it's essentially a hero shooter, which is that in its own is new, right? Because Overwatch was the first one to really do something like that. But
typical Blizzard, they do things better than most people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd put it over DDR.
I would too.
I really don't know what I would do. I was gonna say no, and then I was debating, but we'll put it there.
But I think right now I leave it there.
Yeah, I think I have to agree.
It's definitely not.
That's
more,
where it stays.
I can't believe I'm the one sitting here talking positively.
About Call of Duty.
But I miss the day. I miss the
yeah.
Modern Warfare days, man.
Dude,
I miss.
You know how many?
That was the first instance of outside of WoW of me sitting around for 8 hours, like playing a game like nonstop.
Dude, Marta, Rudy's wife hated me at a point because I'd be like, Rudy, let's get on Modern Warfare 2, and he'd be like, okay, and he's talking to me, and she's like, I hear her in the background, like, oh my god, again? I'm like, yeah, okay, I know it's like 2 a.m.
Gameplay too.
Oh,
all
so
right.
good.
Here's our last game that will,
Be
for the
before
time,
we're
be in the
knocking them
top
out.
six. John Madden Football.
I genuinely have no. I
The
hate
original.
sport. I can't even stand sports.
The original 2D.
games like at all.
They still release Madden every
They
year.
really do?
And that is the football game.
I couldn't care less about it though. So that's where my personal feelings come into play.
Right.
Impact, however, absolutely, it's an impactful game. You're absolutely right. It's since the first game they've been selling. Always. Always, and they're used a lot for like technological showcases too. New gen comes around. How's the new Madden look? How's that grass?
Because football is football is football. Mm-hmm. The rules don't change that much.
No, it's always like roster updates and stuff.
Roster updates, but then modes.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
okay. So,
Animations,
as the only
yeah.
person here who's probably ever actually sat down and played a decent amount of Madden, and
Yeah.
I don't even particularly like Madden that much.
I was a game day fan. Game day 98.
NFL Street, baby.
Hey, NFL Street was great. Blitz.
Oh yeah, Blitz.
Blitz knocking people's head off. I mean, yeah, Madden. Look, it's EA's Call of Duty, right? Like it's the yearly installment plan. Although really FIFA, because FIFA's I think FIFA's the
bigger.
highest selling game in the world every year. Like I think it
Is
sells
it?
more. It's definitely the most popular sports game in the world, and it outsells everything by a landslide. I don't know
Grand
how
Theft Auto 5 currently.
might
Dude,
hold
screw
the
Grand Theft
record
Auto
for-
5. That game still
but
is top 10
it's-
every month
but it's-
I
now.
think it's the number one. Anyway,
Well, it's been released on 4 different generations of consoles. Anyway, yeah. So
Four?
I'm being hyperbolic,
Oh, I'm like,
obviously.
what?
I remember when GTA 5 was on GameCube. No. Yeah, I mean, in Madden, like most years, I end up playing it at some point. It's a lot of system, like little mechanical updates and playing around with things. See, what's happened now though is. And I don't know if they started this, but the booster pack opening system, they started the whole Ultimate Team thing a couple years ago, which is what sells those games. People don't play it so much for, I mean, there are tournaments where people play online, but they play it to break open booster packs that have players in them that are different rankings, and they slot in custom teams.
Are you saying
right?
like
I'm
loot
playing with
boxes?
John Elway as like a New England Patriot, with Calvin Johnson as a wide receiver, and Adrian Peterson a running back. It's
Feels so like, what
Oh,
do
I
you
don't know.
say?
yeah, I know. So, but they have like a booster pack system. Okay, so imagine
this is a video game discussion, Matt. We don't know anything about.
It's
sports.
a game about sports. What's a good example? I mean, it really is.
It sounds like a loot box, though.
It
genuinely,
is.
right?
It is.
You get the players
it's
from the
one
box.
of the, and I don't know where the original loot box stuff came from, but I will tell you right now that like EA Sports with Madden definitely started that trend, and now it's a very very specific niche.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate Madden, but
Yeah. I personally think it stays right there for me. Not, and this is not biased towards the sports genre or sports games, but I look at the other games and I feel like they've been more influential for gaming. Madden just popularized the sports genre and kept it popular, in my opinion.
I'd put it over Miss Pac-Man.
Boy, you don't like Miss Pac-Man.
I feel this has a big legacy.
this was an NES.
I don't see
right?
John Madden football being like used as Easter eggs in movies, you know. Just saying.
Was the original Madden? Was it NES?
I think
I don't remember.
I don't
It
know.
was.
It was definitely 2D.
They had a
Tecmo
little
Bowl should be over
They
here.
had a little paragraph.
Actually, Tecmo Bowl's older.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Sure, yeah. But Madden is what made sports.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And it's not just football. I feel like all the sports games owe I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
to
I
Madden.
mean, even the current basketball games, you can go back
2K
and look
is
at different things. And
NBA
same
2K
with
and 2K Sports
it's
used to
this.
make a lot of people feel like the 2004 was the last time that 2K made a football game, and a lot of people feel like that's still the best like pro football game ever made. They used to make an NCAA game, which is supposedly coming back around, but had licensing issues. I mean, FIFA's this crazy phenomenon.
FIFA's on a whole different level. It's soccer.
Yeah,
Like the whole world plays football.
yeah, of course, but it's brought it to.
This is American trash.
It creates
Egghead, dude.
it created a
Egghead.
genre, that's for sure. I just hate the people.
I mean,
who
this
play
is
Madden.
literally popular, but only in the U.S. You're not gonna see a Japanese player or European
know
player
what
pick
they're
up
about.
Madden.
I remember
guys.
being in 1993 in a mom and pop game shop, and they were like, "Come on, guys, you should buy Madden." Like this, it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
I
But, like-
hate it. I don't play it at all.
But you gotta think of the world impact, man. This only impacted here. You know, no, like I said, outside of the U.S., nobody's gonna care.
I
about
don't
Madden
think you would
football.
have FIFA without this. I know it's a completely different sport, but I think as far as sports games,
I think it
go,
eventually would have come though.
There were a lot of
If
other.
if,
there
if
were
Madden
actually,
football didn't come,
Granted, but this was the one that's
Okay.
they got it.
I still
there's
think
always
it stays
something,
there.
and this was it.
I still think it stays there.
There are a lot of NES.
You guys can
soccer
vote it
games,
up.
by the way.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm not going to
vote
be.
it up.
I'm not
Vote
going
it
to be
up.
bent out of shape if John Madden football doesn't make the top 6. But I would vote it over Miss Pac-Man.
I don't think Miss Pac-Man should keep sliding. It's tough. I definitely wouldn't put it above Dance Dance Revolution. I think I'm just gonna leave where it is for now. Yeah.
Ooh, Miss Pac-Man gets
I
saved
just so you know, I honestly would have put it.
over DDR.
I would have put it over DDR.
Oh, you're wild.
I would have.
I could see it very easily getting inducted, but
I probably will
don't
get
know.
inducted.
We'll see what the rest of the list
Yeah,
looks
it'll
like.
be interesting if we'll have to find an opportunity to do a follow-up and see
Yeah.
how wrong or right we were.
I mean, it's one of the only games that's getting multi-million-dollar commercials with a bunch of like actors and like. Have you seen some of the recent Madden commercials?
They've got
Last year they did like a
stories
6-minute long Madden commercial with a huge effects budget. Like,
That sounds like a waste of money. Anyway, go on.
So here's
a lot
what we're
of
gonna do.
copies.
So now we've hit our limit. These are our current 6 inductees. Metroid still could get bumped out, but probably likely it's gonna stay there. What I'm gonna do is I'll put the 7th one here, and whichever card falls into the 7th spot, we're gonna
Slide it over.
just pull it away. You won't even see it anymore. It's got to come back next year.
Okay.
All right. So number 7 is going to be Asteroids.
see, we started talking about this, and I was like, man, if Asteroids is on this list.
Asteroids is a big one.
Oh.
So this is the one where you are on the ground and there's asteroids coming from all different angles, correct?
Oh, it's not the one. It's not the one with the triangle, the little polygon.
It's the triangle
like
in
you
space.
Yeah.
Then what am I thinking of?
You're
No, I'm not
thinking-
thinking of Space Invaders. I'm
No,
thinking
definitely
of-
not. I know what you're thinking
missile,
about.
Is it the missile?
Missile
defense.
Yeah.
defense.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Asteroids has.
Now
That's the one you play
Space
with.
physics.
You're the
You have the
green
triangle, and you can move around. When you shoot at bigger asteroids, they break into smaller
Yes.
ones, and it takes into account
Geometry
It's all
wars.
vector.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly it.
It's
Those
all
vector
vector,
graphics, man. It looks
And
so good.
the velocity with which you hit things, and like you have to, when you would spin yourself, you'd have to well, no, actually, the
And
spin
didn't you
was
play with the
manual.
sphere?
It had not motion. What's the word?
But it had that like sphere.
Momentum.
Like, the,
Thank you, momentum.
Yes.
Yes.
It was like the first case
Yes,
of physics
sphere.
you'd ever really seen, and I played a lot of Asteroids when I was a kid.
I didn't play as much. Not gonna lie, I don't have like a deep connection to Asteroids, but I did enjoy what I played in the arcade.
So we had a Pentium 1 machine at home that my dad loaded Asteroids, Tempest. There's a
Dang,
tank
Tempest.
one, all the old vector
Yeah.
games before they could even render anything when it was just vector lines, but it was 3 dimensions, right?
looked
Which obviously
good.
Asteroids not 3 dimensions, but
This just has that pure. There's literally it's flawless.
Yeah,
As
essentially.
far
It's
as
just-
gameplay
It-
goes.
what
so
it needs
good
to
at
do,
what
what
it
it
does.
what it goes
Like,
out to do.
It
yeah.
is the perfect game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it definitely. Yeah, get Madden football out of here, man.
yeah, I
Hell,
agree.
get Pac-Man. Well, we can't
The
get
fa-
Pac-Man. out of
even
here, but-
I wouldn't have even thought of this, but you brought up Geometry Wars, and I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of like all the crazy Twitch
like,
games
and the
that
twin
we've-
stick shooters, dude. Like,
yeah, that are crazy popular now. That all really originate with that. Like,
but we can't do that. That's a chronological.
no. I mean, you could argue that Helldivers doesn't exist without Asteroids. You could go that far. I'm not gonna.
A lot of those shooters.
No, truly.
Like I'm not gonna remember. any
Twin
of them
stick
now.
shooters, you mean? Like
Yeah.
Well, not twin stick. I was.
the bullet hell shooters?
Yeah.
Like Ikaruga and like all those.
I
Like,
was thinking of some of the earlier Genesis ones that
I mean, it's wave based.
oh, something Heroes.
Shining Force.
Shining Force.
But that's a little different too.
And that, quite, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of wave based. The persistence across the screen when an asteroid went off the left side of the screen, it came back on the right side, but from the proper spot. Oh man.
Now I said, does it go above? Miss
Hell
Pac-Man?
yes.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Okay.
I mean, Miss Pac-Man stays in the list, so she's not dead yet.
I will put her above DDR.
I think I have to as well.
I would.
I would put her above Call of Duty.
I would.
All right, so
There
we're,
it
we're under
goes.
Minecraft now.
But it doesn't go above Minecraft.
Such a
for me.
classic. I can't believe it took him this many years to put it on there.
That is kind of crazy.
I feel like it's one of those games that nobody remembers though until you say it, and then you're like, "Oh,
that one.
Asteroids!" Like that was a great game.
I think it stays there for me. I wouldn't want to vote it above Minecraft. Again, we're talking about impact here. Asteroids definitely made a change for the industry, but man, Minecraft.
I've played a lot more hours of Asteroid than I've played in
Well,
Minecraft.
any number greater than 0 is greater than 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I've at least watched people play Minecraft. There's that. I've been tempted to play Minecraft. If I ever got into Minecraft, it would be a horror
Gosh,
show because
this
I
is
would
a
play it for way too
challenge.
long.
I really don't know where I would put it.
Do you want me to say?
Yeah,
I think it stays.
then it stays.
Well, I would have.
I don't wanna
You had no
say-
choice there.
I really, I that's a hard one.
It's such a leap in. I mean, yeah. I don't even want to get into the metrics of trying to compare those two. But,
I mean, I feel like I am starting to get into personal when I think about it. It's like, duh.
Yeah,
Duh,
yeah.
Asteroids.
I mean, if it's not top, if it doesn't make it in, we did something
We
wrong.
did something wrong.
We
We
lose
sure
all
did.
credibility. Yeah.
Well, let's try not to do something wrong by the next game, which is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh boy.
You know what? No, let's not even.
Let's talk
Look,
about it.
Final
please.
Fantasy VII, whether you like it or not, whether you have any personal feelings towards it, or even if it's your favorite Final Fantasy or not, that game changed the industry from 1997 and on. RPGs blew up because of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VI or 3 in our states was a good game that, quite a good number of people played. Final Fantasy VII, a bunch of people played. A lot of people played Final Fantasy VII. They're making a remake today. Well, not today, but they're making a remake currently.
Fans have been crying for.
Well, ever since that PS3 tech demo, we're like, oh my god, we want this now.
Even outside of gaming, though, if you don't know anything about Final Fantasy, if you have never touched a Final Fantasy game, or you don't know anything about JRPGs, like a lot of people know Cloud.
Oh yeah, I mean he's in Smash.
And so-
He's
yeah,
in
it's
Smash, boys. Like
it's so relevant even outside of
He's
itself.
in so many games that are not Final Fantasy
know,
VII.
'cause
He's like in
it's a
probably
beloved
20 different
character.
games.
he's in Tactics. He's in Smash.
And most-
all
like,
the Kingdom Hearts games. He's in
But
Urgies.
those are Square Enix games. It's kind of understandable
Well,
for him to do
true,
it. The fact that
granted.
he's in a Nintendo fighter game called Super Smash Brothers, that blew my frigging mind. 7 isn't even on a Nintendo console. Yet the persistence of that character puts him there.
It got a feature-length film.
Yeah, well,
You know what's unfair about the way we do this?
we don't talk about Crisis Core.
Advent Children.
It was the first
Crisis Core was
compilation.
great. You should.
Yeah, that was a good game. Advent Children.
You know, the unfortunate way about the way we do this is we don't get to look at the whole field and make choices based off of the whole field, which is what they're going to do. They're not going to play this little game, which means we're going to knock things off that probably
Well,
won't.
they're gonna do it based on
Right. But
There's
they're
gotta be some
going to
voting.
know all 12 of the games, whereas we're probably about to knock Miss Pac-Man off this
that's what
list,
I mean.
and I would argue that Miss Pac-Man will probably get inducted. So
It has a higher chance of getting inducted, I think.
well,
You got to think of the board. You think of who's actually doing the voting. and
it
who's
seems
gonna
like the
look
last
at
few
it.
years they've gone like age has they've a lot
Halo
of old
made it.
games.
Halo did make it.
Pokemon
But,
made it.
Halo,
well, I mean, it's hard to
GTA.
argue against those two, though. They're making a Pokemon Park in Universal Studios.
Final Fantasy VII was a nominee last year, I believe.
And it
Oh,
didn't make
really?
it.
It did not make the cut.
So far,
I'm
though,
almost I could be wrong on that. I thought I had seen Final Fantasy VII on there.
has any other Final Fantasy been inducted?
I don't believe so.
Then, honestly, in my opinion, 7 should be the one to be inducted. I think so.
We
Yeah.
haven't talked about the production value of this game.
I
It
mean-
was the most expensive game of all time at the time of its release.
I mean, it makes sense.
It had the visuals. Granted, there were games
that had
coming out
stories
that had
like it,
better
though.
visuals than Block Hand's Cloud.
Yeah.
But when you're in the battle mode and then the cinematics, there were 3 different layers. There's the blocky with the render backgrounds. There's the in battle graphics, and then there's the FMV.
Right.
This game had the visuals, it had the sound effects, the soundtrack, the sound mixing, the story, the characters, the gameplay. This had it all.
Yeah, in terms of like production values, absolutely. It was everything. That's the reason why it even went to PlayStation. Because they couldn't do it on the 64 cartridges.
This is the Star Wars of JRPGs.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. In a way, absolutely.
For that generation, that time period, that is the Star Wars.
And I'm okay with putting it over Miss Pac-Man and DDR.
Miss Pac-Man was not the Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
although you did get Star.
Oh my God,
it's making the top 6 right now.
It's making top 4 for me.
Sorry,
I personally am putting it above DDR and Call of Duty.
Wow, you're just jumping it straight up.
Again, that's only my personal preference because of I don't know. Like there's just so many RPGs.
What do you think about DDR? I would put it above DDR.
Then it's gonna go above DDR. I guess I'm right now. I'm thinking about where it belongs on the system in terms of widespread impact and how many people like actually played it.
I'm just thinking one at a time because it's hard to look at all these and process.
I mean, at this point, it's real hard to go like everyone at this table would go, oh yeah, Final Fantasy over Call of Duty any day of the week, but then. We're thinking about its impact on the gaming industry and its relevance for the time and all that.
I think it pushed story-driven games further because of the way it was presented. We didn't really have FMVs like that before. We had a few, specifically on the PS1 era, but after that,
this was an epic. It was so epic.
Final Fantasy VI was pretty epic too.
It was.
But the presentation, the 3D graphics, the FMVs really pushed it above that.
It was so immersive.
Yeah.
I think honestly at this point, discs. You guys voted as high as you're going to go with it because I'm probably not going to go as high. Like that's probably what's going to happen here. So
are you stopping right here at Call of Duty?
I just don't know. And you will both for sure vote it higher than I will.
Doesn't matter.
So.
What do you feel? Do you feel like it would be above Call of Duty? In terms of global impact on what it did for the industry.
It's really tight for me.
Call of Duty brought in a lot of, brought in a lot of like competitors to the scene. A lot of people wanted to get a pie of that multiplayer shooter action that came from 3, 2, and of course Modern Warfare. Final Fantasy VII, they brought some competitors out there, but it was more so like people were inspired by 7 to create these bigger games.
If we were looking at this list right now and this said Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I'd say we got a matchup that we really got to discuss.
Correct.
But this is Call of Duty 1.
Yeah,
put
you
7 over
that.
Put it up
Absolutely.
Above it. I don't really.
Matt is angry.
No, I'm not angry. I'm trying to think about outside of its relevance, outside of how crazy it was, what was the next thing that because of it was crazier? That because it did what it did, broke the boundaries. And it's harder for me to look at it and go, oh, I know exactly.
I'll tell you in a minute. It has nothing to do with my daughter yelling "Daddy" outside. It has everything to do with looking at Asteroids versus Final Fantasy VII, and I gotta say, Sephiroth summons an asteroid, so I think.
You're ridiculous.
Sephiroth.
You know what?
In terms of impact,
I don't sit down and play Final Fantasy VII anymore. I can still sit down and play Asteroids.
some people will probably consider the same.
They're
thing for
remaking
7,
this. They've remade this 1 billion times. It's on phones. It's everywhere. It doesn't have. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
It just doesn't have the impact anymore.
Asteroids?
It definitely has a legacy. I think this still. I think when you see. Granted, this is not the remake, so this is looking at the original. But I still think Final Fantasy VII, the legacy of it is still having an active impact on the industry.
I don't know, man. I think the only reason Final
Fantasy
is still alive right now is because Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 14. Because Lord knows nobody liked 13. 15 is very middle ground.
No,
13 sold well.
Lots
too.
of people love 15. They're still making DLC well into next year for 15.
Ridiculous.
People love that game.
They really do.
It had its problems when it came out,
end.
but so did Overwatch. So zing, overpriced it.
Oh my god! The throwback.
What are we doing with Asteroids?
It's up to you guys. I'm not voting it any higher.
I actually can't vote it over Asteroids either.
I think I would have, but
Well, it's okay. You can still say it. It doesn't matter.
I would have.
There you go.
All right.
Says the guy wearing a Resident Evil 7 shirt. That never
And I've
played
never
Resident
played
Evil
it. It's
7.
in the plastic wrap, but thank you, Loot Crate, Loot Box, Loot Gaming, whatever the hell.
Such a good
So we got
game.
4 games left.
Yeah.
Let's see if this next one can make a dent. It is
Oh,
Half-Life.
yeah.
Oh boy.
This bad boy.
Original
Sorry,
now.
sorry, DDR.
This bad boy goes above Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, let's
For me.
wait. Whoa, man.
That's
just
what I do,
throwing
man.
shade
That's
at
what I do.
DDR and
That's
Call
what
of
I
Duty.
do.
Just-
Bye. See you later, DDR.
You know what sucks with Half-Life is now you're not even just talking about like its impact on FPS or its impact on gameplay storytelling or the silent protagonist. You're not just talking about those things. You're also talking about its legacy with the most popular game distribution software in the
Well, that's Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 was really what put Steam
Okay,
out
but
there.
again, the chicken or the egg sort of thing, right? Half-Life 2 doesn't
we're not talking
happen
about
if
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life.
We're talking about Half-Life.
We're talking about the game that led to Half-Life 2 that led to...
It gets
It's
some credit,
pre-source.
but it doesn't get all the credit.
Also,
Yeah.
also Half-Life Deathmatch
Same thing we talked about.
and
Counter-Strike.
and Counter-Strike,
Which is still
which
being played
is,
today.
I mean, you can't tell me that you can't sit there and go, oh well, Counter-Strike isn't anywhere. Well, no, it is. It only exists because of
It was
that.
literally a mod of
Team
Half-Life.
Fortress. Was
Mod
was
of
that
Half-Life.
Source? No, that was pre-source.
What do you mean?
I was gonna say Team Fortress. The
Team
original
Fortress
Team
1?
Fortress.
Oh, yeah.
the original
It's
Team
a mod of
Fortress.
Half-Life.
I want to
Friggin-
throw a card on the floor real quick. Which card can I throw?
DDR, throw it on the floor.
DDR. Okay, it's got to go.
Bye.
With that.
Love you, dude.
Down onto the floor.
Screw Konami.
Half-Life 3.
And it definitely goes above Call of Duty simply because it inspired Call of Duty. Like, this game was the
Wait,
first
which one came out first?
Half-Life. 98.
Half-Life's way older than Call of Duty.
1998, dude.
I wouldn't even say that inspired that.
Yeah, I don't think that inspired it.
Well, when I
Because
say
this-
inspired, it inspired shooters. There was no story-driven linear shooter like this
It
before.
did. I feel like this may have inspired more like the System Shocks, assuming that came out after.
It did come out
Half-Life.
after 99.
It's even hard to tell because all these games, it's like this just happened to get out the door first.
Right,
So like
yeah.
System Shock would have already been well enough along that it's like.
Maybe. Game developing back then was quick,
But I feel
man.
like there was a network, so people were talking. That's why you have Destiny and The Division and a bunch of games like those that are all coming out at the same time because there was this.
There's got to be insider stuff, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not to say that. No,
Well, everyone's trying to jump on the train of the next big thing.
Sorry.
You know, what is the next thing in gaming? Read the trends. What do people want? You know, how many hours are they willing to spend?
Yeah.
Like the fact that the term open world shouldn't even exist anymore because frankly, 90% of games that come out are open world. So it's not even a thing anymore. We used to dream about that, and now it's like, well, if it's not open world, you're like, oh wait, this is
Oh, wow,
linear.
this is linear, yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, does it go over Final Fantasy VII? I think so. I think it's had more of an impact on the industry.
I feel like this has impacted pretty much every JR. I don't want to hyperbole. Not every JRPG, but the majority of JRPGs that came out after that.
Oh, 100%,
Whereas
yeah.
Half-Life, I feel, impacted a subset of the first-person shooter.
What do you mean?
genre.
Every single first-person shooter after that had a story. Before that, you had, like, Unreal Tournament or, like, Duke Nukem. That the story was, like, nothing. It was, like, an afterthought. But after Half-Life and after its success, like, holy crap,
It
we need
spawns
story-driven.
by far the most like competitive, like popular competitive multiplayer FPS. I mean, before that, GoldenEye was probably
What do you
like
mean,
the big
Counter-Strike?
one. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, how it impacted the industry.
GoldenEye had a story.
A very loosely interpretation of the movie, but Half-Life was very original, very like it tried a lot of different things with its story. So IDK, silent protagonist, I don't know, whatever.
you just said IDK. I can't.
I did.
I don't know if I can.
I will admit, I mean, I haven't played the original. I played Half-Life 2.
God, I played before Half-Life 2 came out,
I
man.
did. I don't think I would put it above Final Fantasy VII. So Matt,
I do.
you are the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
Seven
it's
came out a
going
year
up.
before that,
It's
also,
going
mind
up.
you. But still, Valve, man.
And I didn't even play Half-Life when it came out. I played it later. Like I played the Black Mesa re-release on Source.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
You played it way later, dude.
I played Half-Life 2 before I ever played
Half-Life-
Half-Life 1.
I don't even wanna talk about Half-Life
2
that game,
should be
the physics of that game alone, man. Like,
that game should be like top 5 all-time games anyway. So
yeah.
it's not even close.
I think it stays right there though.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Half-Life, good run, man.
Good run, Half-Life. All right, Call of Duty. Let's see if we can survive. It's time for King's Quest. I think this one might be a bit of a challenge for us to.
I've never played it, but I know a lot of it. It's one of those trial and error animation games by Don Bluth, wasn't it?
No, you're thinking of Dragon Quest. Or
Uh,
not Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
No, you're thinking of Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair. Never mind.
Yeah.
What's King's Quest?
It came out in
I'm
the
a terrible
80s. It
gamer.
was by Sierra. Sierra made this game.
Was it
good
first
old
person,
Sierra.
like, or was it a click? Hey,
Now we're starting to show our
our age.
age and ignorance.
Sorry, guys. We ain't.
I mean,
Our youth?
did
Is that what
that's what I meant to
We
say.
can't even say our youth. We're so old.
we're all sitting here 30 to 32 years old, and I mean, you and I were born a week apart, and yet we're like, oh, we're so old, but we're not
I
old
appreciate
enough
you
for
think
this.
I'm 32.
34, whatever. I don't know.
I'm 33. Thanks.
I
You can't
straddled
win
it.
with this guy,
I
man.
straddled it. Ugh.
But didn't at the Game Awards, didn't they do a I don't think it was last year. Last
No, it
year,
was not 80.
I forget her name, but the year before or the first year that they did the
Can I look up King's Quest real quick?
Yes, you can.
I need
Yes,
to
you
know
can.
because I played a lot of these games with my dad, and I want to make sure that I actually know what it is.
I feel there was like a husband and wife got an award at the Game Awards for like Icon. It was like the Game
Yeah.
Awards Icon, and I
think it was the first
it was
year.
for King's Quest.
It may have been. That was the first year, I think, of Game Awards. Not really remember. But either way,
Graphic
I don't-
adventure game series.
It's like a pen and not
by
pen and paper.
Sierra Entertainment.
They made a new one, yeah.
1980.
I remember that one. 1984.
Oh wow, this is old.
You just
oh,
didn't.
dude.
No,
It's like
apologies.
it's like a point and click adventure.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. What's
Point and clicks. You know, they're a dying breed. They don't make very many of them
I mean,
anymore.
relevance wise though, if none of us
There's-
have ever really, I can't sit here and go, oh, it's more relevant
The
than Call of Duty.
Journeyman project would not have happened without King's Quest. You guys have no idea what that is, but that's okay. The Journeyman project.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
unfortunately
I'm sorry.
with
I don't think it is either.
yeah.
I'm sure all the people watching are gonna be infuriated.
Oh my god! How do you not know about King's Quest?
I played King's Quest last night.
Sorry, King's Quest. I think didn't they do a? I think they did a remake recently.
Yeah,
I just saw it on
there's
the
a
phone.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it. I mean, it deserves the nomination. I mean,
Without King's Quest, there's no Walking Dead episode 18.
I'm remembering now. There is one more game, and I hope it's this one because there's only 2 games left that we may go what. And we are gonna first talk. And here it is, Spacewar. So Spacewar. This is a game. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this. This is a game that was played on like there was a circle. It was basically Asteroids, but it's like just a dot with like lines.
Can I just get rid of it? Let's just save ourselves to 5 minutes. Just bye.
I need to know
have
what it
no-
looks like though. Like it doesn't even sound familiar.
I feel
really
like
doesn't.
if you
Wait,
go to
wait,
the
wait.
Kennedy Space Center,
Is it actually?
this will be there.
I've
Is
been
it actually
there.
Space
It's not there.
War with an exclamation
Spacewar
mark?
with an exclamation point.
Space War. Oh, it was like played on like a radar dish.
Yeah.
Oh no! I do recognize this.
So do I. But no. No.
This was like super precursor. I feel like this is one of the originals.
Is
I
it
know,
Pong?
I know they
It ain't
ran
Pong.
on DOS, like, but the original version of it, I think, was actually built on a radar.
Yeah, it was on like a special unit.
This is
That's
one of
cool.
those.
I think
This
maybe
is
you
one of
used
those
Knobs or something.
like contenders for the original game sort of things. Like,
Yeah, it ain't Pong though.
this is like the first game.
It isn't
sort
Pong.
of. No.
That's why I'm just like, eh.
Wow.
Sorry.
Should I-
Sorry,
So
Space War.
dismissive.
Bye.
And we already have an Asteroids on here. So.
We already have one of those. We're good. We've met our quota.
I cannot remember the last game on here. Would you guys like to guess?
I thought we had 2 left.
No, that was
That was one of the 2.
No, I've got a card here that's like
Oh,
you can
okay.
see the words through the thing.
I have no idea. I mean,
I don't even see. I don't know the whole list of stuff
I
that's already
remember.
been on there.
I can either flip it or I can make this a little mini game and see if you guys can guess with some
There's
hints.
no.
There's no way
No,
I'm
Well,
with hints. With hints, I'll give you some hints.
oh, throw me a hint then.
Generation.
The generation. Gosh. It first came out on PC. still making games today. Actually, there's a game that might actually come out this year for this franchise.
That might come out this year?
I believe it came out in the early to mid 90s.
Are we hyped?
Potentially. It's in the middle of a reboot phase, if you will, and I think we've all played the first game. I'm not sure, Matt, if you played it. I did not play the second game, so we're waiting on the third.
Oh wow!
It came out in a trapezoidal box when it was first released.
Trapezoidal box.
So like it was like
Yeah.
That was a square that you just did.
no, I went like a dress.
Oh, okay.
I have
Maybe
no
not a trapezoid.
idea.
That's not a trapezoid.
That's a
box.
hexagon. I'm pretty
It's
sure.
not a hexagon.
No,
it's
that's
four-sided.
6.
It's a box, but it's
Yeah.
What did that?
Bottoms
What did that?
fall
What? Just I don't know.
your dad. Now I remember.
Wait! No! Because you said we haven't gotten the third one yet.
In the reboot.
In the reboot. Wait, since it rebooted?
XCOM?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe this was on the list last year, and you told us a story about you were playing this game, and your dad had some choice words about you playing this game.
Wait, Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Tomb Raider.
The third.
The third
Yeah,
Shadow of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Tomb Raider is going to be potentially coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tomb Raider was huge.
Yeah.
It led to one of the first movies. I mean, it wasn't the first video game movie, but it was one of the more popular ones with freaking Angelina Jolie. Come on.
Advent Children, come on.
No. Niche for anime fans, dude.
Ooh.
I did play the original. I played the first
played
one
both the
on
first two.
PC,
I played the original Tomb Raider, yeah.
Sega Saturn.
and I just remember being amazed. I was scared.
So was I.
Walking through and
Yeah.
like knowing that a bear or a cougar
a wolf
or
or
something was
something.
gonna pop
I
out of
hated the
the
fear
phone.
that I had.
And
Yeah.
it felt like expansive, like finding
Yeah.
where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a game anymore. It felt
No.
like a simulate. It was like
And the way the controls were too was very weird. Like you jumped and like the jumps were like you didn't have exact control.
oh
was
yeah,
tank
yeah,
controls.
yeah.
Yeah, it was so odd, but I felt like
You had
so
that weird
immersed.
gravity. It didn't, but and it was really easy to like fall in a trap.
And look, I'm gonna bring it up, man.
I was going to. if you
Tomb
weren't.
Raider was the hottest girl around.
Oh,
she
that's-
was on Playboy.
Lara Croft.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, Lara Croft. But
was
I'm
right-
pretty sure they put her on Playboy.
I
He
thought
was-
you were going to talk about something else.
He was really into pyramids.
No, obviously the pre-renders, not the triangle
My
movies.
goodness.
But no. Okay. Realistically speaking, though, they put her on the Playboy magazine, and to take a character.
Onyx, it's 2018. You're objectifying
yeah,
a fake video game character.
We're going somewhere.
You
that
need
we shouldn't
to.
I'm just talking about the impact. I'm
he's
just
not-
saying,
he's
like
not
she
wrong.
was put on a very popular magazine.
So we're talking about now we're talking about pop
Great
culture
now.
impact.
Well, he's talking about a character that's yes, like the character became this huge thing in a way that very few video game characters have.
How
right?
has this impacted video games?
3D adventure games.
Were there? I mean, okay. Well, here I'm just gonna lay it out there.
There's one word.
'Cause
Laid out
Uncharted.
there. Thank you.
There is no Uncharted without Tomb Raider.
None.
And Uncharted is anyone with half a brain cell knows that Uncharted is one of the greatest game franchises ever made.
And
Regardless
without-
of
After
what
the
you
second
like
one.
it.
And the third,
and
but not the
we're-
fourth.
I said don't follow down this string with some of the other games, but
You
without
literally-
Uncharted, you don't have The Last of Us. Naughty Dog does not progress down that road.
That's true. Yeah. There's a lot of things, yes, and you could go very far down that rabbit hole. But regardless,
Yes, you could.
it created a genre
Yeah.
that really no one did better than it for a very, very long time.
Who was it that
But
developed?
really, like,
Crystal Dynamics or Eidos?
The Eidos
original?
did the original, I believe.
I don't know.
It wasn't
did
Crystal
Square-
Dynamics? I don't know what.
No,
What did
Crystal
Squeenix-
Dynamics did the. Well, I know they did the second one. I don't know if they did the second in the reboot.
Square Enix publishes.
Yeah, I know they published, but when they didn't publish it originally.
No.
They didn't start
that was
because they
their
publish
own
all of
stuff.
those. Like
Was this a
they published
Sierra
Hitman
game?
too.
No, it was not a
I
Sierra
keep
game.
feeling like there was a Sierra involvement, but I don't think so.
There was Siberia, which had a character that looked like
Maybe
Tomb
it
Raider,
was Siberia. I
but
can't remember.
no.
I'm trying to think of any other games that did it. So here's the other thing: is like regardless of
Uncharted was the first one, man.
third person before Tomb Raider was always third person with characters, right? It was like Zelda
Platformers.
and Spyro and
I
like
don't even think-
platformer stuff, right?
I don't even think Zelda was Ocarina of Time.
I think this might have come before Spyro.
Was it? Man, is
It
that-
was around the
pretty sure.
same
Like,
era.
real-
man.
This was. I feel like this was right before the PS1 launch. It came out on PS1.
There was
but I
nothing
think it
before
was-
that
Sega
where
Saturn.
we went, this is supposed to
Originally.
be real life, and then they zoomed out and went, oh, okay, now you're controlling your kid from a third-person point of view. So in that sense, you also, I mean, by that explanation, look at the field of games now that impacts, right? Like,
What was the first 3D platformer? I feel like I should know this. 64 was one of the first two. That was in 96.
yeah.
Mario 64.
I mean, I don't feel there's very many games like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, but you have, and this is what I'm struggling with, like Resident Evil 4.
Third-person shooters, yeah.
I think owes some to this.
Absolutely.
Because that's a different... Resident Evil 4, don't get me wrong, this is not responsible for Resident Evil 4. But
I mean, there's a thing though,
they
like
took the horror genre down a different path with RE4 that was this path. You know?
I don't know if I could say that though, because RE4 already had 1, 2, and 3's foundation, and then they were like, well, how do we change this? What's kind of becoming popular
Right,
now?
but when did RE1 come out compared to Tomb Raider? What was
RE1
the
was
original
like
Tomb Raider?
96, 97.
Yeah,
It was right on the
Tomb,
same.
what was Tomb Raider? I don't know.
I'm gonna
the
look it up.
original year. It's early. It's very
It's
early.
definitely PS1. It's Sega Saturn.
I'm really
'cause-
struggling to do anything with this.
I'm gonna put it
I feel
above
like it's
Call of
on
Duty.
this list right now just because the movie has been out. It's had a successful reboot, and people are still talking about Uncharted. We just had Lost Legacy last year, and we've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out this year. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
It's-
such a struggle. It had an impact.
It transitioned to
It
adventure
had an
games.
awareness, but it wasn't.
1996 was the first game on Sega Saturn, and then a week or two later on PS1.
So right around the same time as RE.
Resident Evil 1.
I don't know, guys. This is a tough one. I mean, when it comes to
1996 as well.
female-led
Literally
games,
the same year.
maybe if we look at it from that perspective,
Well, Jill was a female lead in Resident Evil 1 too.
not the same impact.
Yeah, because
as
you
Lara
could play as
Croft.
Chris.
Yeah, he plays both. Yeah, but you can pick one. You pick
Yeah,
who
and
you
Lara Croft.
I mean, we
is-
talk about Samus up here, right?
play. She's for that generation.
On
This
that.
is Samus for that.
For that gen,
generation.
yeah. I think it's more impactful than Call of Duty only on that, but I don't think it changed the industry too much because, like you said, there's only been a handful of games that has tried to copy the Tomb Raider formula.
And that's why I
Right.
changed to it being a female-driven
You know-
story, because the gameplay maybe not, but I think you got to look at it from a different
Everything,
perspective.
It
yeah.
might be more relevant than a lot of this stuff currently, though. If you think about it, like a new Tomb Raider movie came out a month ago.
Well, that's thanks to the reboots. If the
Yes,
series hadn't been
but-
rebooted following Uncharted's
But
footsteps,
you
which
follow that trail all the way back, right? Like,
yeah, it's like Tomb Raider inspired Uncharted, which then inspired the new Tomb Raider series to be the way it is.
it's like arguing that like Resident Evil 7 versus Resident Evil 5 and 6, right? Like at some point you have to reinvent yourself.
But Resident Evil
regardless if
7
it's
was
because of
inspired by
somebody
Outlast
else.
and those first-person survival games, which are inspired. Whatever.
So,
Yeah, it's
so-
all spun off of it.
So this, when did this first come out?
1996.
Okay, think of the games that came out shortly thereafter.
Resident Evil was one of them.
How many of them? Name some games that featured a female protagonist. The only one I can think of just immediately off the top of my head is Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
say.
But that was like
Dark.
98, though.
That's my point.
That's within the range. Yeah.
Two years later, after the Lara Croft WoW, we were able to have a female-led first-person shooter, Joanna Dark.
There's another one that I can't think of right now. I'm totally blanking. It's set in like the 60s or 70s. Like it's like a spy shooter. Oh my! I can't. I don't remember what year it came out though.
I feel like it's taken a long time to get to the point where people, specifically guys, are comfortable playing games as a female.
Yeah.
I remember playing Mass Effect for the first time, and I started as Shepard, and then I said, no, I need to restart, and I said,
Jennifer Hale.
do I want to?
That's another
You know
level
what?
of talent
Yeah,
though.
let's do it. And I ended up playing the whole trilogy
As Femshep.
as Femshep. And now when people making Warcraft characters, they're playing female. Like it's
Monster Hunter,
it's a thing, people are open to that and they're okay with
Yeah,
that. And that's
yeah.
a good thing.
I mean, I
And
think
I feel like
regardless of any of it, I think it was a phenomenal game, and it did so well for so long. And even at the series' worst, it was still relevant, and people still picked it up because it didn't have not many people could replicate the success. I
this is so hard.
put it
I
above
don't
Call of
know.
Duty.
I don't know.
I personally put it above
See,
Call of Duty.
looking at this list now, I'm like, this is rough. I don't want to, like, all of these feel so important.
They are.
I think we got it down to the hard picks.
Yeah.
This is tough.
You know what? The only thing I can say for Tomb Raider instead of Call of Duty is the one thing that we haven't said about this game that we did say about Call of Duty and Half-Life, which is we're not talking about the second one. We're talking about the first one. And the first one was so good. It wasn't like the second was such a huge jump that, oh, well, yeah, Tomb Raider was okay, but Tomb Raider 2, which Tomb Raider 2 was great.
It was better, though. But the third one, I think the third one really...
Tomb Raider, whereas with Call of Duty and Half-Life, all of our immediate reactions were, man, if this was this one... Right. Whereas with Tomb Raider, I can't go, oh, well, this one was the best, and if we were putting that on there, so I think just off of that, I might have to say for sure about Call of Duty. I'm voting it up.
There you go. Call of Duty. Later, Gator.
Did you say no Call of Duty?
Oh, yeah.
I would have also gone that way.
That was actually not that hard for me because I have those memories of like, man, I felt fear, genuine fear playing Tomb Raider, and it was more stressful playing that game than it was playing Resident Evil at the time because of the way it was. I don't know. It's just something about it.
That's the dawn of like adult video gaming.
It 100% was, yeah.
Like, what was that game rated teen or?
It was teen.
It was, yeah.
Because the blood was very minimal, so little sprites.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
it
like
was a mature-ish game for sure.
Well, yeah, it had an adult character.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also fight T-Rexes.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my gosh, that's right.
It had some crazy stuff in it.
I mean, the thing is though, like, it's also a matter too of like the fact that it was 3D, and those first 3D models were so ugly that like you didn't think of it at the time, but really like the ugliness of it gave it this weird sense of like a surreal world. It was the totally different world yet familiar at the same time.
Yeah,
I love it. I love that era of gaming. I really do,
because it was a rare time where we were impressed by.
We were so wowed by everything. Oh my god, look at
we're
the
so
textures.
Rarely impressed anymore. We're like, okay,
now.
Yeah, we take everything for granted.
So that's a whole nother topic, so.
I don't think it goes above Final Fantasy.
No,
I think it's at a good spot right now.
I don't think it needs to rise up, but the fact
this is
on
it.
This list.
Top 6, 100%.
So here. So you hold those. You hold these. I'll hold these in the order.
I feel really good about knocking off Madden now because they definitely wouldn't have made it.
So this is our order right here. We've got from the top Metroid, Minecraft,
Asteroids, Half-Life.
Final Fantasy VII and Tomb Raider.
So
that's a good list.
This is a good list.
You know what? If you told me that in the next 3 months I couldn't play any games until I had played all these through, I'd
be happy.
I'd be okay with that. I'd happily go back and play all of these.
Metroid's gonna be tough.
I was gonna say, do you get an exemption if you've already beaten it? Because I really don't want to play Minecraft all the way through again.
You can beat Minecraft in like 17 minutes.
If you play it on super easy difficulty and you just happen to find the end portal and it's got enough eyes of Ender in there and then you gotta beat the dragon, it can be.
Somebody's played Minecraft a lot because that made nothing to me. I'm like, what?
You have to get the right seed, honestly. Like, you need the right resources clumped together. And anyway,
this is a good list, though. I like this.
This is a good list. I like this. I don't feel enraged by this list the way I was last time.
Last time was baloney.
Halo went above freaking Resident Evil, and you guys.
I wouldn't even put that. I love Halo, but Resident Evil, man, come on.
I know Rudy's upset that we got rid of John Madden NFL, but sorry, Rudy. That's what happens when you miss the team building. Better luck next time.
He's so upset.
All right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments if you guys agreed with our top 6. If you thought there was something else that should have made the list, let us know what your lists were. And we'll catch you next time.
Later.
Like what you saw? Check out some of our other videos and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest content. Thanks for your support and thanks for watching.